And we welcome you inside TD Arena here in beautiful downtown Charleston. It's our weekly GEICO Coaches Podcast brought to you by GEICO, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call GEICO at 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO or visit geico.com. Coach, first things first, welcome to the College of Charleston. Great win on Friday. Before we get too much about the game, how's your transition been to Charleston here, and how's the first game?
It's been a great transition. It's been 6 months, and the kids are in school. My 2 children are in school, and family's doing well, and I really like my team, and they've done a really great job of preparing. Obviously, our trip to Canada really helped us this summer just to kind of get used to terminology and how we were going to do things. Getting Andrew Lawrence back from the Olympics, and now we're a team, and he's doing a great job leading us.
Have you and your family had a chance to enjoy Charleston at all? I know since the second you got here, you guys have been busy with recruiting with the team, but have you had a chance to get out at all?
Well, the first 2 months I was by myself, and then they arrived Memorial Day weekend. But it's a very social town. We've been able to meet a lot of the right people, and they've kind of taken us around, and we've gone to quite a few nice restaurants, and so yes, I think we've done pretty well in our first 6 months.
You talked about the atmosphere on opening night on Friday nights and how good it was, especially for an opening game here at Charleston. And I mean, this is pretty much it. I mean, it's very exciting. It's really the only big other than the Citadel. It's you don't have a lot of other outside influences. Clemson and South Carolina are a little bit far away, so a lot of people get a chance to come downtown and enjoy it.
It is, and I can say this just having been a number of places. It's pretty special to have your opener in November be so important to so many people, not only just folks out in town or alumni, but our students really showed up on Friday, and I don't find that in many places around the country. I mean, there was real excitement with the game, and I thought they really did a great job of kind of getting my team going, and I thought marketing does a great job with the dance team and the cheerleaders and all the different events going on at the game. So it made me feel really special being here, and I feel very, very fortunate.
Yeah, the environment here inside TD Arena obviously is beautiful. You haven't even seen it at its best yet. Wait till Louisville comes to town. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, let's hope for the next one instead of Louisville, St. John's.
Well, let's get to Friday's game. Good opening win for you guys. You score 75 points, 75-58 is the final. You guys led by 30 a couple times in the early part of the second half. I know it's probably really tough for the guys to stay focused, but boy, you get up by 30, you had to be happy.
Well, let's just talk about the 20 minutes. I mean, absolute clinic by our guys in following the game plan. The first 20 minutes, the defense was very, very alert. Really proud of the guys across the board, all the way down to everyone who played. They were really attentive to what we were trying to do. And then we scored the ball. I mean, 40 points in the first half. Anytime you're averaging over 70 points as a team, it's pretty darn good. I mean, not many teams around the country are going to average 80. So we score 40, and then the second half, you're right, we got up 33, and if there was one thing that you had to complain about or work on is just the sustain, but I don't know if that's real fair for me to be too critical with that right now. Just to be in that position is a good position to be in.
You brought up a great point. Let's rewind again to that first 16 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
An absolute defensive clinic. I know you had to be proud. That's something that you guys have been working on hard in practice, really ever since I first saw you guys.
Yeah, you really have to give it to the kids. I thought we did a good job scouting, but the kids really kind of executed the game plan, and they've really kind of paid attention and bought into it. And with that, what you get is obviously a team feeling that we're going to hang our hat on defense, and we're going to hang our hat on rebounding the ball. And I think that becomes a contagious thing as we kind of move along. Keep in mind, I mean, that's one game, and it's a long season, and we're just trying to get better every day.
What did you think of Towson? Because I know a lot of people realize that Towson was 1-31 last year, but you and I talked about it in the pregame show. It's a team that has 3 Big East transfers. They have a lot of guys who are new to the team, but I thought they hung in there pretty well. And like you said, I think you brought up a good point. It's going to take time for them to learn how to play together and learn how to win.
Well, they're going to go on to win now. I don't know any number of games. They'll go on to win 12 to 15 games this year. So their RPI for us will be a much better RPI for us this year than their RPI last year. But Hey, they were bigger and stronger than us, quite honestly, and they posed a lot of problems. They've got a good shooter in Burwell, but we did a great job on Burwell. We gave up a 3 that I was upset about in the first half in transition. I'm like, well, wait a minute, they have 14 points. So
right.
They have some pieces that they're going to go on to win some games. Trust me, they rebound the ball. Pat does a great job coaching them. I think he has a philosophy, and then it also served the purpose of the CAA. If by chance we go that direction, I think that's good for our fans to kind of get a feel and a taste for what the Colonial will be like.
Just a little note, by the way, for the fans out there, the College of Charleston now 33-11 all-time against CAA teams, just in case you're wondering.
Oh, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, man, you're putting pressure on me, Jeff.
Going back to the defense, Marcus Damas, it's a kid that you and I talked about in the pregame show, a returning leading scorer, and you guys held him in check.
You know, I made a major mistake after the game in the locker room, and at first I didn't give Anthony Thomas credit. I went down a list of a bunch of different stats, and I forgot to say Damas had 0 points, and he quickly reminded me, like, hey, Coach, you've been talking about him all week. How many points do you have? And he had 0. But Anthony Thomas did a great job on him. He really did. I thought Anthony Thomas played his best game for us between the games in Canada, the scrimmage with East Carolina, and the exhibition game with Aiken. I was really pleased with that. But if guys start to take pride in their one-on-one matchups, you have a really good thing going with your team.
Well, Jarrell Benjamin is a guy, a big body underneath. Yep. You guys held him in check, too. I think he was 2 for 10. Now, he ended up with 20 points, but he was about the only guy who's getting things done. But he was a good player.
Well, he made his free throws. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. And Jarrell, we recruited out of high school at Tulsa, so I kind of knew him a little bit. And he's a very good player. Can put it on the floor, can pick and pop, and shoot the 3, shoot the 17-footer, but also post. So, you know, the guys did a great job there. And yet I thought we could learn from guarding him. I thought in transition he took the ball from the defensive rebounding situation all the way down the floor, and we've got to do a good job of corralling and slowing the ball down there. But really good matchup for Ajay, and really good matchup for Willis.
Again, College of Charleston wins it by a final of 75-58. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some individual performances. Andrew Lawrence, obviously, with a big game. Trent Wiedemann with a big game, as he nearly had a double-double. Ajay Brew, you really had some good performances by some individual players. And we'll also take a look at the Charleston Classic coming up this week as well. We'll take a break. Back with more on the GEICO podcast right after this.
GEICO says, let's make life simpler.
Look, I'm all for modern conveniences. But ask yourself, do you really need a blender with 23 buttons just to chop an onion? At GEICO, we think life should be simpler. So we make it super simple to save on car insurance. Just one click and you could be on your way to saving hundreds. Come on, people. Life doesn't have to be that complicated.
GEICO. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
And welcome back inside TV Arena for our GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast, brought to you by GEICO, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Make sure you call 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO. We're here with the head coach, Doug Wojcik, in his first year. Opened up his first game, a successful one, a 75-58 win over Towson. And before we look ahead to the Charleston Classic, a big week coming up for you guys, a couple of individual guys I wanted to bring up. Trent Wiedemann, you know, for those of us who had a chance to see him last year, I said on the broadcast, it's just good to see him smile again. He was in so much pain last year. And to see him come out in the exhibition game, I know he wasn't happy with himself. And to come out the way that he did the other night and perform 16-7, I thought was terrific.
Well, yeah, he put a complete game together. I think he was upset with himself in the exhibition just because he did go get 12 rebounds for us and scored 5 points. And he is a complete player. He's probably made the biggest strides overall with his game of anyone on our team. I think he's really kind of adhered to what we're trying to do and thrown it in the post and really expanding himself. And just nice to see him. I've heard the whole ankle thing where he wasn't really happy happy and comfortable, and just, you know, the pain. And I really haven't experienced that with him because he played for us in Canada, and he's been pretty much healthy since I've been here, rehabbing, getting back. But pleasure to coach. Mom was a great player. She's tougher on him than me, so that's a good thing, and just a real pleasure to coach.
Speaking of injuries, another guy that was great as soon as he took the court was Willis Hall. Devastating injury to his knee last year. He comes back and he looks like the same old Willis.
He does. He's a guy that gets a lot done in a very short time, and just a battler. I think he's a guy that's a locker room guy. I think he's a guy that's a leader. Truly understands, wise beyond his years, mature, and really certainly understands the player-coach relationship and how you're trying to get a team to do things, and he really helps in that sense.
Another guy individually I wanted to ask you about, get your thoughts on, was Ajayi Baru. Obviously your first year with him, a lot of expectations on him from the fans last year and now this year again. How has his development been since you've been here? He almost had a double-double the other night.
Well, I've talked to him and Trent a lot about double-doubles. I was upset with him in the first half. We miss a free throw, cutout free throw rebound, a free throw that they're shooting, and if he gets that rebound and then makes his free throws, he has a double-double. And in that sense, I want the kids to have double-doubles. I want them to be selfish at the free throw line. I want them to be selfish rebounding the basketball. Absolute pleasure to coach, great demeanor. Will be a major defensive player as he progresses. He really has length and quickness and hands. Hey, he's 1 point and 1 rebound away from a double-double in the first game. That's pretty good.
Let's switch now to the backcourt. Obviously, Andrew Lawrence, a guy that everyone's familiar with here in Charleston, coming off the Olympics last summer. He had a good game for you.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Stitt. I mean, how do you think those two performed?
Well, Andrew Lawrence is a very good player, very efficient player. Got fouled in transition, made adjustments to his free throw shooting where he went 6 for 6 in this game. In the exhibition, he didn't shoot it particularly well from the free throw line, but makes shots, just real smart. And then Anthony Stitt, if you really look at his line, it's a phenomenal stat line for him. I think he was 4 for 7 from the field. He had 0 turnovers, I think 3 assists. Anthony Stitt's a very good player, and that's why those guys are playing together.
Briefly, Anthony Thomas, we talked about him back in the first segment, but Anthony Thomas comes off and gives you a few minutes. Big expectations, obviously, on him to try and fill that role of Antoine Wiggins.
He did. Best performance as well. Took pride in his defense, rebounded the ball, posted up, played point guard, showed his versatility. A confident Anthony Thomas for us will go a long way.
All right, Coach, we switch our attention from a Towson team into the Charleston Classic, and right away on Thursday, St. John's. I mean, this is a tough field this week coming up, and you'll start with them on Thursday at 5.
Yeah, take one at a time. Do the best we can. We couldn't be in a better position from a standpoint of confidence and winning a game, executing a game plan. Health-wise, we're healthy. They play Tuesday, so we'll see what they look like on tape after their Tuesday game. But it's the next one, so it's the most important one.
Only about a minute left here. What is your philosophy as far as tournament play? Any type of words of wisdom or any type of philosophy that you try and play when you play 3 games in 3 days or 3 games in 4 days?
Yeah, well, 3 games in 4 days for a team that's with a new coach is a little challenging in the sense, but I think the trip to Toronto helped us in that regard. But health and rest is as important as anything. I think we have gotten their attention. They have listened. They have been able to put a game plan together and a defensive scheme. So with that, I really trust them in guarding what the actions St. John's may run, and then of course who you may play on Friday. It completely changes. So it's a big challenge for us, but let's get better and have a chance to win this thing and see where we are come Sunday.
Get a chance to learn a lot about your team in the next 72 hours starting on Thursday.
Yeah, and you do, but at the same time I don't know if that's completely fair. It's 3 games in 4 days. You really don't get to watch a whole lot of tape of yourself after a game, and you really don't get to practice. You don't get to improve. That would be the challenge for these tournaments if you're not an experienced, strong team. But I think we are fairly experienced, and I think we are fairly strong. So we have as good a chance to win the thing as anybody.
Thanks for your time. First one's under our belt here on the GEICO Weekly Coaches Show.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, we'll talk to Coach again next week. You can join us every Monday for a new GEICO podcast right here on CFCSports.com. Big week coming up. We'll have all the action for you, the highlights next week right here on CFCSports.com. Thanks for tuning in.